I need to ask you a question.
Be curious, drifters.
Amelia's duel hits the front.
Emma Tour is coming right away for Damien Oliver.
Bella Nipotina, and boy, doesn't she deserve this.
The Giga Kick's got a strong kick.
Golden Mile, soar out the mile. I'm thunderstruck over the top. Mr. Brightside has won the mile.
And Militarised blows them away in the Champagne Stakes. And she's a class act, pulling right away Prowess. And Zugotcha won it by 2.5.
Zaki, joined by Animo, who looks destiny in the face.
I have one thing to say. Winners win.
Winners win.
Winners win.
Winners win.
It's simple, isn't it?
Look, I coined that phrase when I came out of the womb, mate. And now the wider public has adopted it, mate. And look, you've adopted it as well, to your credit. And you know what winners do? They just keep on winning.
They do. And I feel like it's appropriate that winners, they get dressed up for certain occasions as well.
It's like when you win a fortune responsibly, you have to dress to reflect that winning.
Dress to impress.
Dress to impress. And, you might have to rock a suit until you feel like the winning vibes are no longer there. Yeah. Which who knows? Who knows? A ship's safest in the harbour, but that's not what they're made for.
No, they're made for sailing.
They're made for sailing, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of, we're going to be on a big boat next weekend as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
yeah.
That's
the sort of life we live.
Yes.
Like, we're on a boat on a Saturday. Oh my God. Big yacht.
Yeah. I actually asked a question yesterday of one Joshua McClelland. I was like, could this boat fit a shipping container? Like, what are we dealing with? He's like, yeah. Oh my God.
Jeez, he was on the phone to the Perth Prince a lot yesterday.
He was.
He wouldn't get off the blower.
I know. He was blowing up at him at some stages as well.
Narrowmine form. Narrowmine form.
Some of those bizarre punting you'd ever hope to see, drifters. But
it was a weird sort of a bubble in reality that we entered into yesterday, and I hope it hasn't popped yet.
Yeah. Well, mate, before we get into the reviews, how is the clientele of where we were yesterday?
Oh, mate.
Last couple of weekends, right, we've been at a decent setup, right? So you have the TVs there, cheap beers, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But what is with the elder generation not having fun?
No, not at all. Like, yipping and yahooing when your horse gets up, as you rightly should, because generally drifters, I know you listen to this podcast and you're like, geez, these guys, all they do is win. But more generally speaking, you probably pick more losers than you pick winners if you're a non-professional punter like the two of us. So when you win, you've got I think you've got every right within reason to yip and yahoo.
100%.
And there was a group of fellas who would have been older than us, but not by an awful amount, yipping and yahooing early on in the day because they picked a winner. Good on them. And there was a table of elderly fellas who decided to have a massive go at him and tell them to pipe down.
Oh, you can't do that. What are you doing? It's like, relax.
But
what
also,
are you talking about?
But also respectfully and sorry, mate, you might just need to turn up your bloody
hearing aid.
Your hearing aid to hear this. You're in a fucking TAB, mate.
Yes.
If you don't like it,
no,
go back to the bloody nursing home that you crawled out of. Oh, mate, that grinds my gears.
It was
people who bring down others with negativity up there with me for people who are a social media hero.
Yeah,
right up there. I'm pissed off this week. But anyway,
let's because we recorded on Wednesday.
Yep,
and we were putting out there of obviously the tickets that we were sitting on, or me, I was sitting on, but also the bad juju that was happening in my household with one Prue, my partner.
Mate, there was a lot of hoops to jump through this week to sit where we're sitting right now.
Oh my God!
Like there was a mountain to climb. Like Everest was last week. We thought we already climbed it. Next minute, Kilimanjaro comes up in front of us. I got to climb this one as well. Gee whiz! The Kilimanjaro Cup.
And I sent immediately because I deliberately this week, Drifters, because I was set for, what was about to happen, deliberately consumed less racing media than what I typically do because I just didn't want to overthink things. I was just wanted to stay in my own little bubble.
Bubble of reality, like I mentioned, yeah.
But one thing I did keep the notifications on was the Racing Victoria stewards. And then I had that sickening tweet come through that Nonconformist and Without a Fight had displayed lameness. And I sent it through to you and you're like, you're fucking kidding me.
What a low testosterone tweet that was. Honestly, like
you are kidding.
You're actually kidding.
I just want to run for my money at this point.
You are actually kidding.
But
hey, like they say, ships are safest when they're in the harbour. That's not what they're made for.
Oh, yeah.
And Without a Fight,
he's just
got some ticker.
He does, doesn't he? And I heard because before you came to my residence, obviously watching racing.com or Channel 7 or whatever, and he was interviewed by probably, the great Jason Richardson. And he's like, it might have been after, it would have been before the first, I'd say. And after the victim found Brave Mead in the first, by the way. And so
easy.
He was like, Without a Fight, obviously, like, what are your thoughts? And he's like, well, I was kind of nervous that this would happen because, one, it happened before the Zipping Classic last year and he was scratched. But he said there's nothing wrong with the horse. It's just he's a really lazy walker. And got past fit, and then the rest is history.
The rest is history.
Now, I was fine until about, I reckon, 2 hours before the race. That's when I started to get a little bit nervous.
Time began to slow.
Yeah, it did. And it was a slow build-up as well because the undercard was okay at Caulfield, but Sydney
was a frustrating undercard for me personally. But yeah.
Oh, it was a frustrating day in general. Outside the big race for obviously me, but I think a lot of other people struggled on the day as well. But yeah, tell you what the old patrons did yesterday. They kept their mouths shut when we were whipping home Without a Fight. Yeah. I feel like the majority of people there were either on that horse or maybe I was caught up in the moment because our entire section were like, we were
kicking him home.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Joshua McClellan, full of bright ideas yesterday. Full of them. He said, I was going to record. I was going to record the reaction, which would have been all-time content for the podcast.
Yeah.
But it's a moment in history that we'll never forget.
I was going to set up my phone as well, but I had my eyes focused on one thing.
Your guts were in a knot, mate, and that's fine. It is what it is.
So let's get into the great race, the Caulfield Cup. Let's have a preview or a review rather of the race. So Mark Zahra gave this horse an absolute peach. And I think it also helped him that Solcombe, mate, look at that horse.
That's the slowest he's ever been out of the gates, mate.
It gives him another couple of meters to just do what he wants directly inside. So I think that does, pardon me, it does contribute a little bit. And look who's beside him early days. And see the line that Zahra's holding here? He's about 1.5 to, early days he was about 1.5 lanes off the fence. And he actually said in his post race, he's like, I want to keep Gold Trip 3 wide here. And he's like, actually, I'm just going to ride my own horse here. And then he just basically put him to sleep. And then the rest is history. What is really fascinating about this race, this is the truest staying tempo I've seen in a race.
Oh, for ages. They were going quick.
And it's the two Derby horses out in front. Goldman, Spirit Ridge, Huya Mao, United Nations as well, all setting a really, really strong tempo. Mate, to the 800 metres, they went 31 lengths above standard for Group 1s over 2,400
incredible.
metres.
Awesome to see because it brought out the best horse in the race. Yeah. Like a true testing 2,400 meters. Like the only horse that could be up on that pace and win from there is Incentivize. Yeah. Like if Incentivize was leading this, he probably still would have won. You know what I mean? But not many horses, mate, could hold the first third there and kick on. And obviously we saw West Wind Blows was just behind him, so he was in a perfect position. And he was really strong towards the end of the race.
Probably helps him that he actually missed the kick a little bit. Because if you're doing it out front here, So I think we're about 600 from home here, and I think this is the winning move, and this is what Zara said in his post-race as well. He could sense that the tempo was red hot. He's like, all these leaders are going to fall in my lap. I can't go to the inside here. So he basically got on the back of West Wind Blows, and he said this horse did not corner at all, which you can see. He lost 2 lengths on the corner. But then as soon as he gets in a straight line, he was...
Knuckles down.
But I thought I was supremely confident at the 200. And then just West Wind Blows, mate, he's a bloody tough horse to get past.
He is. Watching when I was watching it live with you, I was like, shit, he's not going to get over the top of him. He's not going to get over the top of him. And then he obviously did. But watching the replay, it's like, no, you're confident. Yeah. Like, you're confident he's going to grind him down.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless West Wind Blows, like, really responded, which he probably still did. But no, he just ground him down.
Yeah. So, my takeaway from this, a savagely run Caulfield Cup. The lead-up runs... The Underwood was a savage contest as well, over 1,800.
Yep.
And
the Turnbull.
The Turnbull
was a hot pace.
Hot pace as well. And you look at the trifecta there, all coming through those races. They only had 1 run in there, though, for both of those.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure. I don't think Gold Trip was in the Underwood.
Gold Trip had that benchmark 100 race.
Yes, that's right. And Solcombe ran in both.
Yep.
And... did it take the edge off him? I thought it was just a perfect lead-up run for the Melbourne Cup.
And I think what we've learnt from that is that he's a Flemington horse.
Absolutely.
Flemington horse.
And I was saying to you yesterday, and I'll actually get up his form because I think people have been so taken from his first up win, as they should, have to have context in there though.
Yep.
1,700, first up. You know, he's never shown that sprint in his legs, but with all due respect, he was defeating absolute yaks that day. Like, he was defeating Flash Flood, who's a good, like, maybe listed grade horse.
He's a benchmark 100 horse.
Jimmy the Bear.
Jimmy the Bear.
He's our benchmark 100 barometer. The Summit, Regal Power, Juna Powell.
Would love to own a benchmark 100 horse.
100%.
Not gonna lie.
Like,
but yeah.
Sir Lucan, he's a shocker. Emissary, Dak and Sweet Jr., who needs further. Uncle Bryn, who came out of the race and, you know,
he's way better than all them.
Like, Shiraz needs further, you know what I mean?
So he's way better than all them.
And I think it's a solid lesson as well. It's like for those Regime stayers, like over that mile, 1,800 meter, if they're kicking off in those contests, they're a great betting proposition. But when they get against those ones, it's like, trust your gut on where you think this horse is going to be best suited. I think Flemington, a nice long straight where he can grind it away and he can pick up those 2 to 4 lengths that he misses at the start as well.
Yeah, because he looks like, to me, now that I've seen a lot of him, he looks like a horse who can, he can keep building up to gears that not a lot of other horses can, but he's not going to show you an electric, like, 100, 200 meter sprint. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's just going to slowly build and just hold it for a long time. I thought he was good.
I thought he was great because he gets on the back of Without a Fight here and then he's just run off his legs.
Yeah.
Now, so in the post race as well, it was probably, you know, Nigel Carmody or Richo going like, you take this horse to a Melbourne Cup now Without a Fight. He's like, oh, you kind of have to, don't you? Why wouldn't you? I was like, oh, I don't know. I think he's a 2,400 meter horse if I've ever seen one. Then I looked at the sectional data. Mate, he's run the 20, I think I wrote down, it's like 25th or 28th quickest last 200 meters of the meeting.
Yeah,
geez, that speed.
Yeah.
So this horse has a serious engine. Like, Could he, like, we've talked to the one Sneezy Racing, who's, you know, he's owned a Sydney Cup winner in Salino, and his the way he puts it is like the extra 800 meters from a 2400 to a 3200, it may as well be like two mile.
Yeah. Yeah, it is so true.
So it's like when he's $7 in the Melbourne Cup, that makes me a little bit nervous, but the sectional data does suggest that he can actually get it.
Oh, he wouldn't look out of place in the Melbourne Cup. Would I be diving into $7 in toxic futures markets, drifters? No way, no way. You wait till the day.
Yeah.
But I want him to run there for sure, because you're on the best horses running in the race, and
100%.
and like if he's not there, what donkey is going to be in there instead? You know.
Yeah, exactly.
So you want him in the race.
Yeah, and the last Caulfield Cup, Melbourne Cup double, don't know off the top of my head.
Oh, geez. How long ago was Ethereal?
Ooh, don't know. Last Caulfield Cup and Melbourne.
Because it's definitely been done since Might and Power.
Ethereal in 2001.
Jeez.
How are you?
I'm not bad. But no, mate, look, that was a fantastic result.
Happened 4 times in 10 years. How's that?
So Might and Power.
Let's Elope in 91, Doremus in 95, Might and Power 97, Ethereal 2001. That's unbelievable.
That is unbelievable.
I can't believe it.
I'm in disbelief. Mate, what a result. Like I wouldn't say apex of the podcast. Like apex of the podcast is what is the apex of the podcast?
We tip the card.
Probably, yeah, tipping the card would have to be the apex of the podcast. So we haven't reached that yet, but it's a nice summit to reach.
Yeah.
Good view.
Hall of Fame.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah,
Just because I think, like, to put it in context, drifters, like there's been big moments where we've been like really keen on a horse, like either me or you, and it's got up, which is terrific, and you can pump up your tires as much as you like. Like what comes to mind?
Incentivize
winning
prep.
the Caulfield Cup, Gypsy Goddess even winning the Queensland Oaks, like things like that. You know what I mean? Like,
Margatu All-Star Mile.
Margatu All-Star Mile. That's another nice one. Like where you're just convinced that a horse is going to run a really nice race and probably win. But like the context for this one is like the lead up. Like I'm not a futures guy really at all. Like I'll have an occasional spec responsibly. You're not much of a futures guy traditionally, but I feel like you've become more of a futures guy.
Well, yes, because the more you do this sort of stuff, the more you understand, and I still make mistakes. Like I think I said Kua Volante would be going to Cornwall, but I forgot the reprogramming for the 1,000 Guineas as well, where she'll be still
hard to beat.
Yeah, I think we still gave that out at $9, and she'd be like $4 favourite now.
Yeah,
if not shorter. But anyway, like what we've kind of learned is looking at those traditional lead ups, and there might be some new races as well. So like the Q22, for instance, 2,200 meters, residual fitness from the Queensland Carnival. It's probably going to be a really hot summer, and that horse just fit that profile so well. Like, he was without a fight. He was just dynamic against Patton. Like, he could just, he had just an explosive turn of foot. And I was like, if this horse has any sort of weight relief in a Caulfield Cup, he will be winning it.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's nice to pull one off, and hopefully, and, you know, judging by the DMs, I think a few people followed us in as well.
Yeah, which is great to see.
And
another one just came to mind that was like an apex of the podcast was Fireburn in the Golden Slipper.
Yes.
Like that was a terrific moment for the podcast.
And, I think we should have done that this year, actually. I got that analysis of how I thought it would happen, and it kind of happened word for word, you know. It's like Gary Portelli and Brendan Avdallah were actually listening to the podcast about that day. Anyway, without a fight, fantastic. Let's look at the internationals of this field, though.
Yeah.
Because I think on stories, you were saying Valiant King could be a very nice play in a Melbourne Cup.
Yeah, because, well, you know me, mate. Typically when it comes to the Melbourne Cup, the first thing I look for is the Northern Hemisphere 3-year-old. So it's listed as 4 years old on the program. relatively lightly raced with sort of Group 1 form over the sort of 2,000 to 2,400 metre mark.
So he's next to 300 from home. He's right beside Breakup, the Japanese horse. West Wind Blows go straight past them, but he actually is, I believe, the internationals, you can only have 2 runs into a Melbourne Cup. So he can't actually feature in a Melbourne Cup, but he can go to other races. So he'll probably go to like the McKinnon.
Yep.
And
West Wind Blows.
He'll be awfully hard to beat.
Very hard to beat there.
But back to Valiant King and Breakup. We'll start with Valiant King. I thought his run was really good.
I thought so too. Yeah, and you know, getting 30s or whatever with the good people in Ned's prior to the race. I don't know what the price is now. I didn't look, but like I thought that was a terrific trial for a Melbourne Cup, and he's not going to get any penalty.
Yeah,
weight wise. So,
yeah.
Breakup.
I thought he was good too. To be honest, like I think through the line, I'm still wanting Solcombe. Like he was really good. Like to miss it that far,
flopped out of the gates.
And I'd say over the next 2 weeks, because Chris Waller, I've heard him say like, I've trained. Was it Willie Mullins that had it?
I'm not sure.
Anyway, whoever the prior trainer was, he's been on the blower going like, how do I get this out of this horse? He's like, you can't. But that's the worst we've seen.
Yep.
I think you could potentially offset that in a Melbourne Cup because you just need something that runs the 2 mile.
Yeah, yeah.
And, you know, the issue is like if Vauban is like 6 lengths ahead of him, then it's like going to be awfully hard to run him down. But out of those 3, Valiant King, Breakup, and Solcombe, I think I'm still Team Solcombe.
I think so. Yeah, 100%. What were the other internationals? Okita Sushi.
Yeah, Akita Sushi was
happy to take him on.
He was just he's a dour looking horse, like no real turn of foot, just really grinds away, and might have got found out with the red hot speed, just run off his legs, you know. Let's have a look at so let's go through the Bayer d'Argent was a sensational run. He was 5th turning into the straight, so he kind of like, absorbed that hot speed. So fantastic training performance by Annabelle Neesham there. Right you are, ran 5th. Again, he was 3rd. He was like up there doing the donkey work and he held on pretty well. Valiant King, Solcombe, Breakup. Duke de Sessa was pretty good, but he needs cut out of the ground, I'd say. And going back to Gold Trip, we haven't talked about him.
No, we haven't.
He was good. I thought he was really good, but he was right beside without a fight. I think what we learnt there, to see the absolute best of that horse, is it's confirmed we need to see him with cut out of the ground.
Yeah.
And not too much. Soft 5 would be probably enough for him to absolutely see his best. But over the 2 mile, if it's like a hard track, it's going to be difficult.
Yeah. Something to take note of as well, Drifters. If you like Gold Trip for the Cup, the weight that he's going to have is pretty much the same. So
he's going to run it.
He's going to run it out. So I still think he's a fantastic chance in that race.
Yeah, absolutely.
No doubt.
Huya Mal?
Yeah, he just got run off his legs. I think he's a 2,000 metre horse, Huya Mal. I hope they take him to a Cox Plate.
Yeah.
Whether he gets a run or not, I'm not sure. But
it's going to be brutal after that race. You know, I'm like in the Stewards report, everything. There's nothing really there other than Emissary, and we kind of knew that going in. That he was no good, and he pulled up lame again. But yeah, Huya Mal, Montefilia finished beside it in the Quinella in that Hill Stakes. I think you just need to take the Melbourne form moving forward. Spirit Ridge again, met that Sydney form, kind of like faded away. Fame ran to market expectations. Goldman, likewise. Now, we have some questions, pardon me, from the Short Ball Instagram page that talks about rugby league and some ponies as well.
Rugby league.
Do you put a red line through Francesco Guardi for the Melbourne Cup?
Oh, I forgot about that horse. I completely forgot that he even ran. So based on that, yeah.
Because he, J-Mac said he thought that something went amiss with him during the race. So this is about 800 from home, and he actually kicks up underneath, and he probably actually gets in front of Without a Fight there, back to the inside. Then he just fades really badly, and yeah, and this is the issue with futures markets as well, because like you see his lead up runs in Sydney, they're looking fantastic. His Turnbull run was pretty average. Like you definitely want Solcombe out of that run. And then he just fades into nothing here. Hopefully nothing, like you're almost hoping there is something like a little bit amiss with the horse that isn't too crazy.
So there's an excuse, yeah.
But
like this is when we talk about toxic futures markets. Like people were jumping on him for the Melbourne Cup after his run in Moonee Valley last year.
yeah.
Like, yeah, I get that, but gee whiz, there needs to be a lot of hoops to jump through.
Yeah.
A lot of water to go under the bridge. Like, we knew Without a Fight, his grand final was the Caulfield Cup as soon as he won the Q22.
Yeah.
But he nearly got scratched, mate.
Yeah. Exactly.
So like, you're taking an incredible risk, and that's why it's so awesome what you pulled off, because you had to go through some hoops. But and it's probably why I don't really play in the futures markets anymore.
Yeah.
Because like I've had my fun, particularly a couple of years ago with Incentivize and stuff, but nah.
Yeah.
No thanks.
Like with him, and it's a double-edged sword, because like you're now going to get, like, if he runs in the Cub, you're probably going to get 40 to 1.
Yeah.
And it's like, and at that price, you're probably going to have a play.
That's the thing, and exactly right. And Valiant King in the Cup that I spoke yesterday morning, like 50s or 30s or whatever he is, wherever you're having a punt, like you chuck a tenner on that. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? But yeah, nah, all good, mate. How good? Caulfield Cup?
Yep. Let's have a look at that really quick. Let's have a look at the Melbourne Cup market. So, yeah, Vauban at $4.60. That is awfully short.
That is way too short.
If you're taking that, you're an absolute sicko.
No thanks.
Gold Trip 5s, Without a Fight 6s, Solcombe 9s, Lunar Flare 13s, Breakup 15, Absurd 17, First Immortal 21, Lasker Turcha. Yeah,
that's the Mick Price and
that's
Kent Junior horse.
Another Australian bloodstock horse.
Yep.
Valiant King 21s. So he's come in $10. I feel like that's pretty fair. Francesco Guardi, $41 now. So it's like, yeah, it's tough.
Like we're better.
Yeah. Is he going to start more on the day? And it's like, I can forgive a horse for one poor run as well, especially because that horse would probably be better suited out to Flemington as well.
Happy to take him on.
All right. Let's go to the rest of the... Oh, yeah, so let me have a look here. Did I have anything else in the Caulfield Cup? Yeah, so 31 lengths quicker than standard at Group 1 standard, 2400s to the 800 metres, and then they went below standard, as they should, for the remainder of the race. But, yeah, the 25th quickest last 200 of the meeting for Without a Fight. The best horse won. The best horse won. That's what I wanted. I'm glad I looked at my notes. So, Teofilo, do you know that sire?
Yeah.
Sired the Quinella.
Did he? He's an Irish sire.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
What's his staying progeny?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right. Good stuff.
No, yeah. He's Irish sire. Plenty of stayers come out of him.
All right. Now, so we saw a savage speed set in the Caulfield Cup, but what we did not see was the same thing in the Caulfield Stakes. Typically, this race is a fantastic Victoria Derby lead-up. I am severely grayed up about this now, mate. So 2,000 metres for the boys, 2,000 metres for the girls. So we're talking the Sunsets and Riff Rocket race versus the Autumn Angel and Tropical Squall race.
Tropical Squall.
Autumn Angel and Tropical Squall would have led the Sunsets and Riff Rocket race by 21.5 lengths to the 600 metres. How farcical is that?
That is absolutely farcical.
So it's a sit and sprint. Now, do I want to have a sit and sprint race as a lead up to a Victoria Derby over 2,500? Absolutely not.
That really muddies the waters, doesn't it?
I am flummoxed by that now.
I thought something like watching the race live, like, yeah, you're looking at the sectionals and stuff, but I was like, what is going on in this race? Like, why isn't,
Mate.
I don't know, yeah, bizarre.
So 21 and a half lengths to 600. They still would have beaten the boys by 12 and a half lengths overall. So obviously the boys would have run home. They ran home like 10 lengths quicker, right? But like, I'm just very confused by that Victoria Derby market because that is just not the right setup for a Riff Rocket, I don't think.
No, he's by American Pharaoh. Like, speaking of sires that their progeny are stayers. Yeah, no, you don't want that sort of run as a lead into a tough 2,500 metre derby, do you?
So I'm thinking of the remaining form references. There's the Spring Champion, which we've had the likes of, Shadow Hero started a short price favourite.
Sharp and Smart,
and also Ace High won it.
Yeah.
I think he won both. And
He did.
But then you have like the Moonee Valley race, which I think is over 24 or 2,000 as well. It's the 2040, and that's the Johnny Get Angry race, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
So he went in the week back up. I think he finished
That's the Vars.
Yeah, he finished a long way back and forth.
Barclay Square race as well.
Yes.
Forgot you race.
Yep. So
left, right, and centre.
I'm almost just going to look who has the best fitness run heading in, because I could almost see some of these accepting for Moonee Valley next week and then backing up again in the Derby.
Yeah. I think out of that race, like, I'm still taking Riff Rocket out of that race.
Yeah.
Because for him to do that in a sit and sprint, like, I think you get him to a 2,500 metre race, and I'd still be confident that he runs it out if it's a truly run race.
Because you look at him on the corner here, he's probably 2 lengths off Sunsets, and given the time, it's like it's almost impossible to run him down from there.
Yeah, and starting price profile. He's $1.30, mate. Like, why are you diving into that?
No.
Why are you diving into that?
Absolutely.
Like, the victim put him on top, but like, as if you wouldn't.
Yeah, because like the victim's second pick was Gold Bullion, who was frankly disgusting.
He was disgusting.
Like, he was vetted before the race, and he was
should have been withdrawn.
Yeah, and hindsight's a beautiful, beautiful thing. But
so you're looking at the Spring Champion next week, right? And I'm guessing Tom Kitten's the early market favourite for that.
Yeah, but
is he a 2,500 metre horse?
Oh, that's the thing. Don't know. And his sire suggests he wouldn't be.
He's by Harry Angel, who's an Irish sire.
Okay.
I don't know much about Harry Angel.
Okay, all right.
Darley stud.
So, Gay Waterhouse during the week said that Tropical Squall just goes out and just wins.
The victim said otherwise. Said otherwise.
And so did we. The first filly home against the boys, Autumn Angel at the Valley.
Oh, so we're better.
It just makes sense, right?
It makes so much sense. Mate, I need to, really soak this one in, because from here on out, it wasn't great. Is that Conasana running third?
Yeah.
Oh, geez, that was the other one I was interested in.
Yeah.
But Autumn Angel, exactly right. Former round Griff, who just came out and won in Guineas.
Look at her through the line there.
Mate, she is an Oaks horse through and through. By the Autumn Sun, you love to see it.
Who's that number 7 there? Because they were strong to Basilina. Yeah. Basilina for, Ollie on board. So Ollie knows how to ride a Oaks filly.
Wouldn't that be something? In his last spring carnival, he rides another Oaks winner.
Mate, goes in my strategy already. Whatever he's riding. Yeah. Because, I don't know, I just thought Tropical Squall, I was happy to take on because she was so... she was impressive in the flight stakes, obviously. But
I didn't rate that flight stakes, though.
She was also like fading that last 100.
Yeah.
And you can listen to the stable all you want. I'm an eye guy. Like, if that horse is fading at the end of that race, I think she was typically 2 weeks into each run. She had an extra week as well. The travel, she don't know if she's going to get around Caulfield either. Yeah, I'm
happy to take her on.
Yeah.
$1.80.
Yeah.
Again, that's skinny.
You'd much rather take the punt on Autumn Angel, who is the first filly home against the boys of Griff, who won a Guineas the week prior. Come on. Yeah, if you're diving into Tropical Squall, have a good hard look at yourself.
And who was on Autumn Angel there?
Billy Egan.
Billy Egan. He's going really well at the moment, isn't he? That was a good ride because there was a bit of traffic she had to come through.
Wait, did you see it?
Yeah. Oh, I wasn't. Yeah. I saw it. I was on it. I was on the blow up to the victim before the race, and he's just like, "Get on."
Now, this is where we went. Well, because we follow in the victim and the source's tips. We had a run of seconds that was just absolutely disgusting. Now, Facile, every chance I thought set up in the race by two fading leaders here. Presents to the middle of the track, and Ollie sneaks through a gap here that frankly did not look on. But look how tight that is on Arkansas Kid. Now, Arkansas Kid had a cardiac arrhythmia first up, finished last. And you typically see this a lot of the time as well. It's like when the run after, they usually bounce out of it really nicely.
They can usually bounce out.
Yeah, but Facile, I was keen on her for a couple of starts in her 2-year-old preparation. She always finds one better, doesn't she?
Yeah, well, that's, I think, her 6th start for maybe 4 seconds.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she tends to find one better, mate. Her record would suggest. But, when you lose like that, it is what it is.
And I don't think that was a vintage edition of the race. When you have and you see that. So Arkansas Kid had 2-year-old form, Facile 2-year-old form, Don Corleone 2-year-old form. The rest of these didn't. And, so I think that 2-year-old form is standing up somewhat, but it's kind of like the new season ones. Like, I think these are the B and C graders.
Well, the only one I think who was really good as a 2-year-old who stood up as a 3-year-old is Cylinder as it stands so far.
Militarise,
obviously.
Yep, absolutely. Now, this has to be ride of the day. Courvolant. Blake Shin. This is
that was just such an obvious pick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we saw it.
Yeah.
We saw it at the Valley with our own eyeballs.
And it's just, you see barrier 17.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah. And that's what spooked me, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm looking at this here, right? So that's 200 meters. You probably have, and this is something I need to get better at, just thinking out loud, is actually seeing what the starting, and I did this for that 1800 meter race at Randwick a couple of weeks ago, is seeing how long they have to actually find a position.
Yeah, like the shoot, stuff like that. Yeah,
I think that's definitely, because I see some tipsters definitely look at that, and I think it's actually a really good point, and it's definitely something I need to get better at. And I got away with it here, but I think she's just the superior filly.
I think so. Race. I think as well, mate. Like when you see that gate, but you see Blake Shin, like someone like Blake Shin on, you take more confidence. Like if it's a J-Mac, if it's a Nash, Tommy Berry.
Well, we saw it in Sydney because everyone was crucifying Zac Lloyd on his 2 Godolphin rides in Sydney, which we'll get to. People are forgetting that young fella is an apprentice.
Yeah, exactly.
And you have to take more responsibility for your own hunting.
Couldn't have said it better myself, mate. But no, she's a very nice filly. Well found in the yard by the source last start.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a win. My thing, lovely looking, just faded out.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's something in the stewards report there.
I didn't see anything. I think, different gravy for her.
Yep.
Now, because there was 4 1400 meter races on the day, all rated extremely similar in time. So I think, it's nothing too crazy. But the big standout was Courvolant's race would have led all of the other 3 races by 6 to 9 lengths.
Okay.
But yeah, so the last 600 would obviously it kind of leveled out. But I think that even from that wide barrier, using that gas early to find that position, and then holding off those by 1.5 lengths again.
Only one you want out of the race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think Commemorative is the one out of Sydney who'll go into the 1,000 Guineas probably at a third start.
And she is enormous.
She is, yeah. I don't know if she's out of Elise, but my God, she looks extremely like that Godolphin filly. Oh, now we have some questions about this. Jay Drapes and Jordan Sonderfield. What has happened to Jamie Kah? And was it a Jamie Kah butcher or a Spacewalk a cat?
Oh, I've got a confession to make, drifters. Said to Hutcho before the race. And I said, I'm petrified of doing this race at double figures. And Spacewalk, look, I didn't think the ride was that bad.
No.
I just think Duel had an easier ride.
Yep.
So you just cop that. Like, I was looking at Duel on Friday morning when I was when I was talking to the victim and he was finalising his tips, and he told me that he was tossing up either one, but because I said to him, I was like, well, I didn't talk about Duel on the podcast, therefore got to stick with Spacewalk. But I was petrified before the race. Got to trust your gut because first start this prep, 61 kilos. Up on speed, and he just faded late. He got tired. Dropped to 53 kilos for this race, mate.
Yeah. And we saw, I think the Source found one in Sydney, which we'll get to, as well, that had something similar. But it honestly looked like Spacewalk found the front, and then he just like kind of floated. Saw a few of those yesterday. Some horses finding the front, they float, and then they either get the job done or they just kind of fade out.
He should have ran over the top of him, but it is what it is. Okay.
But
it is what it is.
Like, the thing is, though, is like, and 1,000-meter race, but like, Spacewalk has run the quickest 8.6 for 200 of the meeting. So it's like, what else do you want this horse to do? Because, and you look at his sectionals, mate, of his 600, like his 600 to the 4, he was 1084, and then he was a 10.7 from the 4 to the 2. Like, he's running elite time.
Like, it is what it is. Is Jamie Kah out of form?
Yeah, she is.
She is, yeah.
Yeah.
But she, like all good jockeys, she'll bounce back.
Yeah. And you got to cut her some slack.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, she went through a pretty heavy injury, like, and in her personal life and stuff, it's fair to say it hasn't been stable.
No, it's been a roller coaster for Jamie.
Yeah. So
she'll bounce back.
Yeah, absolutely. She's one of it. She went. I think she had 100 Metro winners.
Yeah, never been done before.
Yeah, so she's elite. Now this race, the Skew If race, there was a question here from one of the drifters. Apologies for getting your name, bruh. But how much were you throwing up at Skew If here?
Not really. Like,
had every chance, I thought.
Like, it had every chance. Yeah, like, she was my on top selection, but was she my best of the day? No way.
Yeah,
no way. So yeah, I'm happy to forget about that race.
One horse that I thought was interesting in this race, and I feel like it got scratched from the Silver Eagle. And I reckon Chris Waller has gone like, you know what? This might be our Empire Rose horse, is Madame Pomery. I have a feeling. So if I have a look at an Empire Rose market, if I can find it, where is she sitting? Because a lot of these, like Amelia's Jewel won't go there. Fango won't go there. Tissue, maybe. Hope in Your Heart, probably not. Princess Grace, maybe. If I look for, what's her name?
Madame Pomeroy.
She even in the market here?
Don't tell me she's not in the market. That's ludicrous. 'Cause that's exactly where she'd be going.
No, she's not in the market.
Gee whiz.
So I might request that.
Yeah, J-Mac on, back in Melbourne. I thought she was going to run a good race.
Yeah, she ran into fourth there. I thought she was good. Cess Magique.
Have to see it.
Have to see it. That's what we said. Finished last by 5 lengths. The in secret form's been overplayed, and I went into it early in the prep as well.
Yeah, and so you should, and you see it once and you say no, thank you.
That's the way it is.
That's the way it is, guys.
Are you listening?
Do you listen?
Oh, are you going to hand in your resignation papers on the podcast here?
I might have to resign. So get this. Look, what I'll say firstly, this is the Nunthorpe Buffalo River Race Drifters. What I'll say firstly is that I've backed Nunthorpe 3 times this prep, and she's won twice. Like, irrespective of how good she is or how good she isn't, like, net profit up on Nunthorpe. So she fades badly in this race, though. But Buffalo River, he can break some hearts out front when he gets it his own way, can't he?
Yeah, he can.
So this dickhead was on him last start. It jumps off, and obviously he wins. I can't back the horse. I just can't. I can't back. I've got to resign.
I think Celine Gaudry just gets on with this horse.
Yeah.
Like, some jockeys just have their way with it, like Timmy Clark on Alligator Blood, comes to mind. And it's great to see a young apprentice come through the ranks with, like, a battle-hardened Buffalo River, and he's in the winner's stalls again. But the thing is as well, I can live, and, we had a quaddie and we chucked Buffalo in because it's like, Buffalo's a different animal this prep.
Yeah.
But I look at him, he hasn't won for, 2 years prior to him winning at 20s. Yeah. And it's like, all right, if you're finding that, you're a sicko.
Yeah.
I think you put him in your quaddie for insurance. That's basically what we did.
Yeah, I couldn't have put him on top. Like, what has Nunthorpe done to me this prep to suggest that I shouldn't put her on top?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And I think I said on this podcast as well that I was keen to take her on because she wouldn't find her own way in front, which proved to be, I think, what really. And she got scratched last week. I thought it was just
I found out this morning. Would have been nice to find out yesterday if I decided to watch racing.com yesterday, but it didn't. She had a minor setback. That's why she was scratched. So, like, if I knew that.
And you were taking $2.50.
$2.50. Gee whiz.
That's a lesson.
That is a big lesson.
And so this is how good I was going. Altivo, my on top, scratched, rain in Sydney. My second pick, Times Square, gets scratched on race morning. And then my quaddie pick, Ungawa, gets scratched on the way to the.
It wasn't meant to be.
So I was like,
you only had one race.
I'm backing you guys in.
You only had one race you needed to worry about, mate.
Yeah,
it's all good.
So it's like, I just didn't have a selection. And then the last race of the day,
best of the day.
Just end of prep, I think.
Yeah, end of prep. Picket fence was way too long.
5 or 6 in a row.
Picket fence
Like,
was way too long.
She's not think about it, is she?
No, she's not.
So she had arguably the run of the race here and just faded late. But Len Picker, now the gentleman in front of us, had this horse in the quaddie, and the big fella was like, I did about 5 seconds of form for putting this thing in.
Sometimes it's that easy.
Yeah.
$20 shot wins the last quaddie. Would have paid well.
Shout out to Nick Foote from 2 Units as well, who, are just a fantastic racing podcast as well. He tipped this horse.
Did he?
Yep. So at $21,
sheesh,
sensational going for you.
Well done, Footy.
Now in Sydney, I think there's a couple of things that I wanted to touch on here that aren't necessarily in the listed races, the black type races, but Marquess, right? Now, in the Stewards report as well for Zac Lloyd on his ride on Marquess, I'm going to have to watch this again here. So he was directed to take a forward position, and I think right there is where he's getting roasted, right? So in the first 200 metres, now he's drawn the second to outside, and it's a tight turning start there at the 2000 there, I'm fairly certain. So it is always going to be tough to find a position. It didn't go his way, and he's 3 wide, no cover, and the horse has just like felt it because I think it was quite a strong head breeze there. So it's like the horse just had none, and it runs accordingly, right? My opinion of this is that the people blowing up at Zac Lloyd here, it is just pocket talk and just absolutely unnecessary.
Yeah, agreed.
Like, what else do you want him to do?
But also, like, if you want to back in, like you said, a young apprentice on a favourite coming out of a wide gate, then that's up to you. To live with the consequences.
100%.
If he ended up in that position and he drew gate 3, you're like, okay, what's going on here?
Yeah.
But it's not the case.
Because we've seen with this horse as well, this prep, he's been a back marker. He's taken a closer position as well. So he is a bit versatile, but I don't think he's that versatile. He's not Animo where you can kick him up and almost lead if you need to. Like, this is a benchmark 88 race.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, chill out.
Yeah, chill out.
So
100%.
He fades poorly. You can forgive the horse for that. Probably get into the end of prep as well. Because you look at the form around him with like Pierre Rosses, she was really poor. Stroke of Luck is like starting their preparation. I think it's just like the fitter horses just kind of, or not the fitter horses, sorry, like the up and coming horses into their prep just got one over them.
Yep.
And so all that talk about like absolutely smashing Zac Lloyd is so unnecessary. He had a very similar thing happen to him from barrier 8 on a second starter in commemorative as well, which I was the only horse I was really scared of was Kazu, and proved to be like the Waller on pace runner that just got the job done. And commemorative was 3 wide, back in the field, no cover as well from probably about the 600, and but I think this is getting close to the only thing that can beat Coevalent in the 1,000 guineas.
I'd still rather be with Coevalent.
Yeah.
Just more battle hard, and we've seen 2 really good wins. So that's more evidence.
Look at the size of this thing.
This thing is enormous. Couldn't believe my eyes.
Yeah. Huge. And the $2, and I think we said this in our, still don't know how it doesn't win here. Effortless Stride.
Jeez, you know it's going to run out a mile though.
Yeah. But set it in the, and this is one of the key form references that I look at as well is, yes, the ride or the win was impressive to the eye at Warwick Farm or wherever it was, and wins by 4.5 lengths, but there's also been no subsequent winners out of the race. So the form, it's like you need it to win by that far. So it's like, and I feel like if it needs to be in the 1,000 guineas market, it needs to be like winning. That was pretty close, like all things considered, you know. So I think it's definitely a winning chance. Now this is where things go downhill for the source.
What, 2 close seconds? Or not 2 close seconds, but you know what I mean.
Now he chucked in Able Willie at any old price, and poor old Willie was just no good. Got warm late, but you know, dashing legend, first start for Joe Pride. He just knows what he's doing with these battle-hardened horses, doesn't he?
Yep.
Now, Unspoken was one of the few winners that the source found. Saw something different from this horse this start. Led.
Yep. He was good.
Phantom weight. As soon as Cepheus was scratched, it was
obvious.
He was 4 lengths better than the opposition.
Got crunched.
Yep. Did mention to one Matthew Dolab, who was looking for something to beat the favourite. I was like, Political Debate could be the one because he was beaten 5 or 6 lengths in an Epsom.
Is he still with Waller or not anymore? Political Debate.
Yep.
He is? Because he's not on the Coolmore Silks anymore. They must have sold out of him.
Arrowfield, by the looks of it.
Yeah, interesting.
That's the TAS Silks, right?
Yep.
Arrowfield?
Yeah.
Now, getting to the bigger fish on the program, the 5 Diamonds Prelude. 1,500 metres. The 5 Diamonds is 1,800, I believe. That is gonna be a pretty nice race, I think. Palmetto at any price wins at $26 or whatever it was. Prelude, Detonated Jack will be 1,800 metres that race.
Maybe this was the plan all along. Mara and Eustace.
Makes sense, right?
Smarter than us.
Yep.
I said in the run, Palmetto looks very good here.
Yeah, you also go, not Waterford.
Not Waterford. He runs a really nice,
Third.
Yeah.
As he does.
That's him.
Yep.
He'll come out watch him win the 5 diamonds.
No way. Because no, it won't. Because like the opposition is going to be so much more difficult in that race. With all due respect, Palmetto, you're not winning the 5 diamonds.
I'd be shocked.
So
I might have to resign.
Now, the source is on top selection, and one that I was extremely keen on was Altivo. Finished 16 lengths last. A bleed from both nostrils isn't going to help, though.
I would suggest that does not help.
So that's an obvious forgive.
Bloody hell.
But interesting as well was the jockey actually requested this horse to get vetted before the race. At the
really?
gates. Yeah. And then he got past fit to run, and then obviously that happened.
Yeah,
so
he
it's
wasn't right.
It wasn't his day. Hope the horse is okay. He'll be put in cotton wool, and then he'll be, hopefully come back this time next year, you'd imagine. Now, the big dance wild card. Now, who did this get out of jail? King of the Castle.
Number 1 ticket holder for the podcast, JKM, Jess Mitchell.
Lovely.
Followed the source in.
Yep. I was still, I actually wasn't able to get on this on the day because I was still riding high from Without a Fight.
Different
victory.
planet.
So, but, sits behind the speed here, and the 10.5 kilo weight swing proved the difference, I believe.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah.
Easily. No, that's a nice win.
Just kept getting through his gears, didn't he?
Yep. Kick, 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 kick,
Bang.
kick. There you go.
Lovely. So that's, a $7 winner, starting price profile for the source. And I believe that's about it. Now, we did have one more question, which I'll actually get up from the YouTube, and I've actually already responded to it there. But so if you want Adam Barrett, I feel like this was a really, really interesting question, and I wanted to bring it up and discuss with you. I was just doing a bit of a recap of the two big tracks today. He's given himself a trumpet, which I like. Done pretty well at Caulfield myself. Can't say the same for Chris Waller trained horses, though. Notice that Riff Rocket was the only one to place, and that was at a whopping $1.08. They went a bit better at Randwick, so he had Kazu winning there. But I don't remember seeing him do that poorly. Still pretty new to it all. Just wondering if Waller trained horses generally go better in a certain state or tracks than others. Now, I've got some stats here, but I'm keen to hear your initial gut feeling.
Oh, well, I'd suggest his home track is Rose Hill. I'd suggest he'd have a phenomenal record there. He might be better, but I also think he sends them down to Melbourne because he thinks they're a better winning chance down there. I actually don't know. I'd be speculating.
My viewpoint is his Melbourne runners are set for one race.
Yeah.
So the lead-up runs, you can almost put a line through them in terms of a winning percentage because they're set for something bigger.
Yeah.
Solcombe, Francesco Guardi are the ones that come immediately to mind because it's yes, Solcombe got one win out of this prep, but he's had however many starts, and he's going to have he's going to be peaking on Melbourne Cup day.
Yep.
Francesco Guardi the exact same.
Yep.
So I think Madame Pomeroy is another one. If she heads to the Empire Rose as well. So he's had 50 starters in Victoria for 4 winners this season. So around that 9% or so.
8%.
8%. So at his New South Wales stats, though, he's had 86 starters at Rose Hill for 9 winners, so going at about 9%. And then he's had 329 starters at Randwick for 29 winners at about 9% as well. My viewpoint is, and we've been of this opinion as well, for us to back, and Kazu was a good example because I think that horse had a profile where it showed that it was going to run a good race first up. You see so many races where Chris Waller has 6 in the race. That's obviously going to affect his winning strike rate. But also, we also like him second, third, fourth up into a preparation as well.
There's no one better in the game than getting a horse to peak for the grand final.
That's exactly what I said. It's like he's an elite trainer, but he's another level for a grand final.
Like, yeah, he's the best trainer in Australia.
Yeah.
Do I think he has too many horses? Yeah. Oh, I think so.
Mate, you see that with that stats. It's like so the season's just started and he's had like, I'm going shooting from the hip here, but I think he was like 1,700 or 1,900 runners this season to date. And it's like, you look at him 2 seasons ago, he had 2,300 for the season. Like, so he's got more horses than he's ever had. But it's just the state of racing here at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, look, it's
like we see it for like a maiden with our horse Counter. There was like 4 or 5 other Waller runners in the race.
Yeah.
So it's like, and we typically get knocked off by the stablemate.
Yeah, he's got too many horses.
Yeah.
But he's still the best trainer in Australia.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But no, that's actually interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting reading.
Yep. Good stuff, mate.
Good stuff, mate. Need to go find that trumpet.
Yeah.
But look, racing moves on quickly.
It does.
So Cox Plate next weekend.
Yes.
We have to get our ordinary kit back on, or you do at least. Study up.
Yep.
Back to the books.
Manicato
as well.
Short price Imperatriz.
Yeah. Tough time beating her.
Yeah.
I believe.
Cox Plate is, I've got a few there because it's just going to be so fascinating. Romantic Warrior, can he bounce back? The 3-year-olds in King Colorado and Militarize. And then obviously the likes of Fangirl.
Could she just be on an upward spiral?
Wildcard. Or was that her grand final and is this an afterthought?
Could the blood be the forgotten horse?
Mr. Brightside.
Fascinating race.
I saw that my Oberon's getting a run.
Huh? How?
To be fair, he's in good form, but I'll be shocked if he won that.
I was under the impression that good form was winning form. Can't recall him winning.
No, he's running third in like King Charles's.
Oh, please. I will resign if he wins the Cox Plate.
Okay.
I'll resign.
All right. I don't want to do this podcast by myself, to be fair.
Prefer others? Yeah, I can't wait.
Yep, it'll be good. And Derby Day is only a couple of weeks away.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you for listening, Drifters. And I'll just finalise by saying this. If we have tipped you into any horses this prep, namely Without a Fight, Radina, anything that Jones has sent your way as well, can you please pause the podcast and do us a favour? Pause it after I say this. Go to your Spotify app, give us a follow there. Go to your Apple Podcasts app as well, and then leave a review saying that how bloody good we are.
Yep.
And also a 5-star rating as well, because we would really appreciate that. And if we've tipped you into anything, please do us that favour.
Follow us on Twitter as well.
Yep.
Comment on our shit.
On the Drift Potty. On Instagram, on TikTok, YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube as well. And obviously, and we're starting to get a bit of a head up there on the Ned's profiles as well. Jonesy on the Drift and Hutch on the Drift, where we basically bet on our best bets of the day.
Yep.
But you'll see us next week.
Sure will.
Hooroo now.
Bye.